being here. I have 5 poems I'm going to try to get through. And this first one is a new one. It's called How to Be a Friend. Stretch yourself. Lick your elbow. Climb a tree. Hang 10 on a limb. Thinner, thinner, thump. Greet the earth. Ask how her today is. Ask how to make her tomorrow better. Poke your head through your neighbor's doggy door. Bark. If he greets you, feed yourself through. If he chose you, feed him candy from your pocket. If you begin to feel a sword on your shoulder, genuflect and hail King Arthur. Feed Arthur through the door. Follow, sniff, heel, paw, shake. Tow Arthur to the park. Lament its dilapidation. Howl a duet at the sun. Scrabble at the rotting carcass of dirt. Feed it green candy. Kiss the wound shut. Hoist Arthur into a tree. Tell tall tales until the sun thunks. Compare beliefs. Marvel at their dissimilarities. Propose a trade. Check raise. Go all in. No givesies backsies. This next one is by far my shortest and dumbest poem, and that's about reading it, but try it out. It's called Special Delivery. I'm sick of all these silly labels. Fragile, this side up, keep dry, don't drop. Like, can I hold your baby or what? Okay. This next poem is called What Loneliness Feels Like. Loneliness feels like nothing. It feels like waiting to be born, or what being dead must feel like. Loneliness feels like sitting in the same chair, in the same room, for a full summer, like a calendar with no numbers. It feels like not hearing your own voice for weeks at a time. Loneliness feels like speaking in echoes. It feels like doing what you want at all times when what you want to do is nothing. Like getting exactly what you desire, except you're Buddhist. Loneliness feels like napping all afternoon without once falling asleep. It feels like bong rips and bed sores. Loneliness feels like text messages exclusively from DoorDash and your parents. It feels like distance over time, like perpetual motion, a cursor blinking. Loneliness feels like rising with the moon and falling upon sunrise. It feels like life alert and swivel trays. Like being in a hospital ward without an ailment. Loneliness feels like waiting for the diagnosis. It feels like the exact midpoint between misery and euphoria, an emotional purgatory. Like being the child of divorce between Jesus and Judas. Loneliness feels like an unlit cigarette. It feels like every artery is now a vein, a blowfish for a heart. Loneliness feels like remaining arm's length from a cat that refuses to be pet. Like being watched by your own reflection, a phantom limb extended. Loneliness feels like begging yourself to give. That's funny, right? All right. poem is called I've Never Kissed My Father Before, but I would if he so requested. I love my father, but a pronounced hug is typically as far as we go. The love remains tacit until I fledge to the opposite shoreline and he begins railroading an I love you too out of me at the caboose of every call, because you never know. But knowing is all he does. My father is wise, monkish, with a ring of hair like a halo. When growing up, we watched Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as a stand-in for family time. He never gets a question wrong. It's a wisdom I abuse. I feel guilty that I only reach out when I have a problem, but he wears a bandolier of silver bullets. Today, the roles are reversed. My father calls to confide that he's been let go again. A veteran coder in an ageist industry, middle managers mitosis his pay between two embryonic graduates and report that productivity has doubled. I've been canned more times than tuna becomes a sardonic catchphrase. The terms of my parents' divorce stipulate that he can't retire until age 67. I commiserate, but words are like pellets, and grief is a fortress. I want to Mr. Fantastic my arms through the phone and hold him. I think the reason I've never kissed my father's cheek is more about message than machismo. A kiss is a nicety, a hug, a solace. Our family life necessitates much more of the latter. American cinema suggests that the gesture only cuts ice when reserved for the final goodbye. Once in grade school, a theater kid explains to me that the trick to crying on cue is to imagine the saddest thing in the world. When I close my little eyes, I see my father on a gurney. All right. Hopefully I stop bumming you guys out. This is the last one. It is called First Date. I ask you how long you want to live, and you say 60. I ask why, and you say you don't think you'll make it to 60 anyway. I ask why, and you say you have lupus. I ask what lupus is, and you say it's when your body mistakenly attacks itself. I say I suffer from a similar mental affliction. You don't laugh, and I apologize. You say you did like it, you just don't laugh. My aorta gushes. You dip a carrot in ranch, and I gag. I slurp my wine, then swirl it like I'm interesting. You are elated by a gingerbread man ice cube. I ask you on a walk. You ask I prove I'm not a murderer first. I say, who would ever want to murder on a night as lovely as this? You concur, and we depart. The dog frogs are throat singing ABBA's Dancing Queen in lush baritones. You ask, may I have this piggyback ride? And I oblige. The stars are black, and I grumble, mumble, jumble something about light pollution. You say the night is young, it just hasn't had its chicken pox yet. I say it's 14 billion years old. Chicken pox must hurt like hell at that age. You dangle a carrot you had saved before my nose and let on that it's smothered in ranch. I whinny my disapproval and buck you onto a bunk of leaves, blue and crisp like $50 bills. You look up at me. I look up at the moon. The moon looks away out of shyness. Its dark side makes a wink, becoming, at least for a moment, new. I am green enough to believe, for a moment, things are looking up. Thank you.